let's see. Michael Thomas says, do you think the Eagles address linebacker now or wait until closer to training camp? I actually talked about this on my show today. I think it was today or yesterday. I don't know. The shows all kind of run together. I think it was today. And essentially what I said is they're not going to look at linebacker, in my opinion, until training camp. And I think right now, if you were to ask Howie Roseman what's going on here, they love Nicholas Morrow. They think he's going to be a starter, and they think Nakobe Dean's going to be the other starters. ESPN shows here. If you get to training camp and Morrow and Dean are not the guys, or only one is good and the other is not that good, and there's no Sean Bradley or Davion Taylor stepping up, then you make a call to Miles Jack. Then you make a call for a trade about Isaiah Simmons or Patrick Queen. That's only if these guys are so bad that you have to make a move. It's the exact same situation as Philadelphia had this past season with C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I'm convinced they got to training camp. They looked at their safety situation and they said, Reed Blankenship is not ready. He might be later on in the year. Kayvon Wallace, he ain't it. We got to go get somebody, and they made a move. So I think they like linebacker, but they're going to wait and make sure, and they're going to find out in training camp before they make a move. I don't think it makes sense to sign Miles Jack right now. I'd be fine with it. We all talked about it yesterday, but I don't think it's going to happen right now.
I agree. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think there's going to be a signing. I think there's going to be multiple signings, and relatively big names. I don't know if it's going to be giant, depending on where you even think Miles Jack falls in that category. I think that he's got something left in the tank, but still, to what extent, it's like, okay, he's kind of been on the decline a little bit, but I do think there's going to be a couple other signings. But to your point, you kind of wait. You want to see what you got, and training camp's the best situation for it. The beauty is the Eagles have plenty of room in the cap space, and that's exactly where Howie wants to be, because he can just go ahead and pounce whenever he needs to if he's like, oh, yeah, you know what? One of these linebackers is not it, and we need to go get another player. But right now, I mean, I've said it on a couple of shows as well. It's like, I'm excited to see this squad, what we've already got. Like, you may be solid. I'm not saying it wouldn't be great to add some other players. And I think that Ndamukong Suh, if I had to guess, is just about a lock to be back to the Eagles. So I know he said, like, hey, I'm not going to be there till week 1, but week 1 I will be ready, or, I'm not going to do the training camp. But it's like, it feels like, and as much as he was saying how much he loves the Eagles and his interviews and everything, it feels like he's going to be an Eagle. So it's like, you have a player like that. This squad right now, though, like, think back to, I guess, the beginning of the offseason, right? Like, or whenever free agency just hit. Yeah. It's like everyone's saying, like, oh, the Eagles are losing all these players. The defense is not going to be anything close to what it was. Now, again, there's been a lot of things happen with free agency and the draft, but I really believe with Sean Desai and being able to move these playmakers around, I think that we could have as good, if not better, season on the defensive side of the ball. I think that it's a little bit kind of going under the radar, not completely, because we did fantastic in the draft and all the pieces that we've added. Right. But I can't wait. Like, I think expectation-wise, this defense is going to be just fine, if not better. I mean, I'm curious to know what you think, but after hearing Sean Desai too, like, I'm totally bought in.
Well, where are they worse, or where are they worse than 2022? Or sorry, 2023. No, it is 2022. I can't think. They're better on the defensive line. I mean, you can make the argument that healthy Jordan Davis plus Jalen Carter can give you what Javon Hargrave did, and if it's not, better, it's the same. So they're at least the same. But now they add Nolan Smith as a pass rusher, and Derek Barnett comes back. So the overall defensive line should be better than what it was this past season. Might not be overall sack number better, just because they had an insane amount of sacks and they played some pretty bad offensive lines mixed in there too. But it's as good. Linebacker, you can make the argument it's worse, but you don't know what you have yet, right? So you can make the argument that TJ Edwards, obviously a better player because you're white, pretty good tackler in the open field, but we don't know yet. They're the same at cornerback, the exact same at cornerback. It'll be the exact same 3 guys, plus some people that they obviously brought in. Zach McPherson, you're, 3 at this point? And then at safety, it's technically worse, but how much worse, right? I mean, it's basically going to be Blankenship and Edmonds, unless Sidney Brown could go ahead and start. Who knows? So the expectation should be very, very high. If they don't play such a vanilla style of defense, then maybe it'll be even better just based off of that. I really don't know. It's going to be fascinating. I'm excited to see it. I think Ohana Means Family said, what is the training camp battle you guys are most interested in watching? I can't wait for a safety battle. So I'm sorry if we passed some of the comments, but that's right on topic. So that's why I brought it up. But yeah, I think that's it. I really do, because you just went over it, the list of players. Like, if you want to make the argument where the Eagles might be weaker, it's the safety position, but like, we don't know, because there's still players that are going to be battling out for that position. And Sidney Brown, like, I know he's a rookie and I know there's a lot to prove, and safety is one of those positions where it's kind of like, yeah, maybe he needs a year to kind of
learn the NFL game, get caught up to speed, but maybe not. Maybe he could just come in from year one. But I'm just telling you, like, from the interviews and everything that he's been saying, he approaches it the right way. He's not even like, oh yeah, there's a safety starting spot up for grabs. It's no, what do I do each and every day to get better? So maybe he's the guy. But I mean, obviously, yeah, you've still got guys that have been signed like a Terrell Edmonds, who has been serviceable or probably better than serviceable. So, what are you expecting from him? But also curious to see how Desai moves those safeties around, because from everything that I've seen, it's like he disguises looks so much. You might get a safety who all of a sudden is kind of a hybrid linebacker, but Nicholas Morrow played safety in college. So do you have some weird looks where he has nuances just kind of completely confusing the quarterback? That's the part that I can't wait to see, is because you've got a lot of these playmakers, these hybrid safety / linebackers that you can move around at a bunch of different spots. And I think you can't have too many playmakers on the field. So, that is one that I'm very excited about. But yeah, probably safety. If I had to go with picking the top positional battle that I'm looking forward to, there's a couple others, but that would probably be the one that I would say. What about you though?
Safety is definitely the most impactful position battle because it's the one where people are actually going to start. The rest of the position battles, it seemingly has the starters already laid out. You make an argument, how much is Jalen Carter going to play based on battling with some of the other rotational defensive linemen that are in there. The one that I'm most fascinated by is wide receiver. I think wide receiver 3 is a wide open competition, although I will say this. Eagle fans and Eagle content creators and Eagle beat writers, every single offseason, we always pick some wide receiver who we think is going to not only make the roster, but be like this breakout star. How Travis Fulgham was for 2 games or whatever it was a couple of years ago. That's what's happening this year. We have people riding the Alontae Zaccheaus train. You have comeback season for Quez Watkins. You have people who think Devin Allen's going to pop this year. Joseph Ngata is the next Alshon Jeffrey. I heard that one. That was crazy.
Apparently.
Yeah. Obviously you have Charleston Rambo, who we'll talk about, that they just signed. I'm very curious to see if any of those guys are actually be good. I don't think so. I mean, honestly, if I was going to bet, it's Zaccheaus 3, Quez Watkins 4, and then flip a coin to who's going to be 5 and 6 in terms of the wide receivers. But that's another battle that doesn't have as much, I would say, juice to it in terms of actual playing time, but it's going to be fascinating to see because they're going to be cutting some of these guys. You're not going into the season with 8 wide receivers. You're going to have 6 max.
Yeah.
2 of them are not coming off the football field. So it's going to be very interesting. But you have all these different battles. You have the right guard position. That's a wide open battle. You have a lot of playing time on the defensive line because they rotate. So battle, it's more playing time. You have linebacker battle, which we think it's Josh Sweat and Nicholas Morrow and Nakobe Dean, but there are other players that can obviously take that over. You have a backup cornerback battle, Ringo mixing in with Zach McPherson, and then the safety battle. There's a lot of battles going on. Oh, and backup quarterback, Ian Book versus Tanner McKee. Loser goes home. Winner gets either a roster spot or a practice squad spot where you make $110,000 a week. So there are plenty of battles that we're going to be covering here when training camp gets going. And I can't wait to be, analyzing that sideline beat writer iPhone video where it's like, well, Tanner McKee had a pretty good throw across the field there. And it's just, it's wild. It's very wild right now.
Come on. We can pick up a lot from those. Don't discredit the iPhone blurry picture videos that you can get from training camp. But no, I'm with you. What do you make of you mentioned the right guard there real quick, the right guard position battle. So I know it's, hey, Cam Jurgens was drafted. Right. He's supposed to be the center. Obviously, Jason Kelsey's still here. He's coming back. Tyler Steen gets drafted. And it's like, we'll see. Maybe, maybe not. But the reports are that he's had a really good rookie mini camp and that Jeff Stoutland's working with him quite a bit, which, no brainer. I mean, he picked the guy for a reason. But it's like, okay, who's going to win the positional battle there? I don't know if you caught Jason Kelsey's interview, but I mean, they asked him point blank, like, hey, what do you think of Cam Jurgens? Yeah, what do you think about the ability there? And he said, he was like, oh, Cam was ready last year. Like, he could have played last year. He would have been a really good center last year if he had played. And he's going to be great in this league. He's going to be one of the all-time greats or has the ability to. So he couldn't say enough positive things, which, okay, you're not going to say anything negative in that context. So I get that. And, they're just bombarding him with those questions, but it still points to the fact that Jason Kelsey is doubling down on the guy that he selected. He helped the Eagles pick for his backup or his replacement. And he's still kind of giving him some credence to say, no, this guy could definitely play right guard. So it's the question I think we all want to know and that we're going to continue to ask, but you talk about starting spots, impactful positions. It's good to have depth because whoever wins the battle is still going to have someone to back them up and play that spot. But I don't know. I don't know what to make of it because I see almost as many things saying the argument of Tyler Steen as I do for Cam Jurgens. So, at this point, it's like that's definitely going to be a very big battle and impactful for the offense. I think either way, you'll be good, but it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top.
I've been riding the Jurgen train for a while. I know people love Tyler Steen. He's massive. He had a great rookie camp that was talked about. But I think a year going against the Eagle defensive line in practice every single day is going to be a massive, massive help to Cam Jurgens in terms of that spot. But like you said, a very important position battle.